Hey everyone, welcome back. We have another amazing speaker, Claire Bjerkan, who is, guys, listen to this. She's a flower witch. And I love talking to her about this because it's so unique, so extraordinary. But her passion really is to guide others magically and beautifully towards their purpose, joy, and vibrancy using profound coaching and nurturing natural well being modalities. She skillfully helps you unlock your potential to create a nourishing life of abundance, flow, ease, and grace. So she is all about oils, flowers. I'm going to say witchery. Can I say that, Claire?
Definitely.
She really is in tune with all of her powerful gifts from Mother Earth. She wants to free her inner witch and encourage others to do the same. So, Claire, thank you so much for being here with us. I had to put that in there because the reason why I invited you on this conversation is because you are very unique in what you are offering and what you're doing for others. I'm like, we need to have a powerful conversation. So, welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for asking me.
Do
Yeah.
you remember we had a conversation one time and you were talking about fairyology?
Oh, I didn't think you'd ask me about that. Yes, I am a fairyologist actually, and there's not many of us in the world, and it's the fairy side of things isn't something I often bring into my work, my craft, if you like, but it's there in the background, and it's part of what Mother Earth offers us in terms of health and vibrancy and magic and abundance. So it's not something I often talk about, but yeah, I was just called to study these little creatures, and that's something that I do for me, really.
Beautiful. I love it. I told my daughters, they're like, oh, I want to meet her.
Yes,
Oh, so how
every
did
little girl's dream, isn't it, to work with fairies?
it's amazing. I love it. So, I mean, one thing that I do know about you is that you have a really powerful story about essential oils and using oils. You've been using them for years, but how did you get interested in oils to begin with? What's the story?
I think it was always with me, from childhood. I think so many of us, as little girls, love the natural world and flowers. And I was one of those children that would always go out with a book about flowers and try to identify the flowers. And then that led me to learning a little bit more about the healing properties of flowers. And I think it was just like a natural calling, like a natural interest that was always with me. But then when I got a bit older, and had various sort of like, I suppose, minor health issues at the time that became more serious, I would just find myself wandering into a health food chart and looking at my options rather than going to a doctor. I just felt a natural call to explore the natural world of healing. I mean, I did go into pharmaceuticals eventually, so obviously healing and medicines has always been in my essence, but I prefer working with natural medicines rather than synthetic medicines, even though I did spend 16 years in pharmaceuticals. And of course, there is a place for that as well. But all pharmaceuticals have been synthesized from natural medicines at some point from flowers. And I mean, for instance, aspirin was originally from the willow bark. The bark of a willow tree, salicylic acid from aspirin, that's where it comes from. And you find that horses in the wild, when they are in pain, will naturally go and nibble at the bark of a willow tree for the pain relief that aspirin gives them. And aspirin was then synthesized in a lab to give us the aspirin that we have today, which of course is toxic because it's artificial. So you can actually take it back. You can strip. It's a bit like, when you work with somebody, you strip back those layers, which you're very good at. You strip back the layers that we've developed as we grow older. You strip back the medicines to where they came from originally, and you find them in their purest, most potent, most effective, safest form. So that's what I love about them. And then I would just explore them for my own personal well-being and found that they work beautifully. And I've done it for 30 years, but I've done it for me for 30 years mainly. And now I'm starting to go out to the world and say, look, do you know of this world of magical healing that is available to everybody? And
Yeah.
some people do, some people don't.
Well, and how do you use them? Because you'll know, like I have my oils here. I have like my snap out of it. Usually, I have a whole table full of them in my diffuser. But I'm not sure I even know how to use them. Like, how do you use them? Because I know some people say you can ingest, like you can put them in your water, and some people are like, no, you can't. Like, can you give us a little bit of a rundown for those of us that are brand new to this whole world of oils but are curious? Um, what do we need to know?
There is controversy about whether you can take them internally. I absolutely 100% say that you can if they are the right ones, and that's I wouldn't recommend going to a shop, buying an oil and taking it internally, because this industry isn't regulated. You actually don't know what you're taking, even when it says 100% pure. It's not. So if you do want to go down the internal route, I would recommend speaking to a qualified aromatherapist who will only work. There is only one brand of oil that I know of in the world that is certified for internal use, and that's the oils that I use. And that is my favorite way of using them, actually. So the highest quality oils can be taken internally, most of them, not all of them. They can be applied to your skin, and again, the good quality oils, pure oils, can actually be applied directly without a carrier oil. Again, that's controversial. You know, some people say that you can't do that; it's controversial. But these oils you can, and you can take them aromatically, which is either in a diffuser or just, you know, I mean, I've got geranium in front of me here because this is one that I use a lot, and you can just literally pop it on your hand, inhale it deeply, and in 20 seconds, that'll be in the limbic part of your brain, which is the emotional control center of the brain. 20 seconds here, that's quick. 20 minutes, it'll be in the right cells that it's needed in the body within 20 minutes. So geranium oil works, I mean, they all work physically, emotionally, and energetically. When you work with these oils a lot, you become very intuitive and you know which oils to use when. So for instance, if I've been out at a party and I've maybe had a drink or I've maybe eaten foods that I don't normally eat, I will be craving geranium oil the next day. And the reason is it completely detoxifies your liver.
Wow.
So you actually get that in tune. You think, oh, I really need some geranium oil. And I make myself geranium tea regularly, just one drop. So that's one way. And then rose oil is probably one that I use every single day. Highest vibrational oil on the planet. And this is incredibly good for softening the heart. It opens the heart.
What's that one called?
Rose oil, pure
rose oil.
Yes, yeah.
I have that one.
Yeah, this one straight onto the heart chakra. This will open if you're into the chakra systems in the body, this will open your heart and it'll make you feel a lot more loving, and it'll also help you be open to receive love from the world as well. So this is great if your mood is low, if you are feeling down, you're struggling with grief as well. And actually this produces serotonin in the brain, the happy neurotransmitter that we often turn to carbs, you know, when we crave carbs in our diet. Try rose oil instead, it's got no calories. And it's, so I mean, it works. It's just beautiful. Of course, you can use it as a perfume. You can also use it as an anti-age on your face. But my favorite way of using them is energetically and emotionally for our emotional health and well-being.
Now, I know that you help people, like you certify people to be, what is it, like an aromatherapist or something, where you teach people how to use the oil so that they can give it to others. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, this is something I've wanted to do forever, and I eventually got around to doing it. So I've got a certifiable aromatherapy practitioner program, very, very deep, intensive program, that anybody that goes through it with me becomes a qualified aromatherapy practitioner, so they can actually create a business using oils. I mean, they don't have to create a business, they can just become knowledgeable to treat themselves, to treat their family, to treat friends and loved ones, or they can actually begin a career as an aromatherapist. So they can actually, use that information to increase their own personal health and well-being, but can actually create a career out of it as well. So it's an insurable course that they can do with me if they want to become qualified aromatherapists.
Well, it's really interesting, right? Because when I was in the thick of my leaving my business partners and going out on my own, I was like a lot of stress. And my friend is a certified aromatherapist. And she's like, let me give you like a aromatherapy massage. And mostly it was like on my feet. And I was just like, really? Is that really going to help? Like, you're going to give me some oils? Like, I'm going through a lot of shit in my life right now. Oils are going to help me? Is that what you're telling me? I'm like, whatever, I'm open, do whatever you need to do. And it was like the shift in my energy in a half an hour session was just like, and I mean, that for me, it was almost like a permanent shift. Like, I didn't go back to that disempowered, it was, I can't even explain it, but it was almost like, okay, I got this. I can handle this. So what do you say about that? Because I mean, it was profound for me.
Well, yes, and they do it quickly and they do it safely as well. I've had quite a few, obviously, positive experiences with oils, but one of the most profound, and I've only just started to be able to talk about it because I still get really emotional talking about it now, but when I had my first child, he was very ill and, had life-saving surgery at 3 days old. And I was a mess, It's not what you expect, is it, when you when you give birth? And I was told the worst. So he had this operation. His bowel was cut open and removed and sewn back together, and they said it probably won't work. So I was in a bit of a mess, and they did want me to go on antidepressant medication, which it's just not me. I mean, I know a lot of people have to, but I didn't want to. So out came my oils. I mean, at that, we're talking 17 years ago. So I didn't have access to the quality oils that I have now. So I used what was available. So I used a combination of essential oils and flower essences as well. They're not oils, but they're also flower medicine. And honestly, my mood and my resilience and my ability to remain positive. I still get very emotional talking about it because I did not need to go on toxic medication. I was able to use oils and essences on me, and I also used them on my son to keep us positive, to keep us and my mood. Because I mean, I had to have a high, a good mood because they feel everything that you feel, our energy, they feel it. So it was important to me to make him feel positive, hopeful, optimistic. I needed the strength to do what I needed to do as a mother with a very poorly child. And I did it, and I did it through the help of these oils and essences. So, Mother Earth is my guru, and that's a powerful story. And I know so many people who have gone down the route of antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication, and 10 years later they're still on it.
Wow. Yeah.
But they can get off it. They can get off it. So that's just one story. I've got others, but that was, powerful for me.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to call out the elephant in the room because, whenever you hear oils or people think multi-level marketing, what is she selling? And I really think that it's so much bigger than that. And I think sometimes multi-level marketing companies get a bad rap. I'm going to say it because I know somebody's thinking it, but really it is about healing, and it is about for those people that want an alternative option, that want to have a cleaner way of living. It's just such an extraordinary opportunity, right? And I think some people close off their minds to it because they think MLM. What do you want to say about that? Because I know somebody's thinking it.
Yeah,
I just know it.
You're probably right. Although I haven't really come across it, I must say. I think there was one person who was years ago a bit unsure, and also the fact that it was an American company, and she put the two, in her mind, she'd put the two together. But the thing is, with the oils that I work with, there is no other way of sharing them because you can't put them in a shop. because people need education, they need support, they need information, they need to understand how to use them properly. And if you see one of the oils that I use next to a cheap alternative that isn't actually a pure oil, the chances are somebody's going to buy the cheap alternative, and the chances are it's not going to work because it's not a pure oil, and they don't really know how often to use it, what with, how many times a day, how many drops, how long for. They don't know any of that information, and therefore they're actually not getting the healing that is available to them if they were to be trained properly. It is an education. I educate people and I share how these oils can help in so many ways, physically, emotionally, and energetically. And you can't really get that message across any other way, I don't think.
Wow. Yeah, and thank you for sharing that, because I agree. It is about education. I have a whole container full of oils that I was just like, oh, somebody said, hey, these are what you need, but then I didn't get the next step. How do I use these? When you said I have rose, I'm like, I have rose. I have,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a whole bunch. I'm like, I don't know what to do with them. I use them as perfume.
Yeah, which you can do, but you can use them as powerful healing medicines if you know how. So that's where people like me come in, to teach you and to show you and to help you. And I
Beautiful.
love it.
Yeah, I mean, you're so great at it too, and you can tell that it's just such a part of your being and your life, and your studio and your home, and how you're educating people. It's just really, really phenomenal. And if people want to learn more about how to use these oils, what oils to use, how do they get a hold of you? Where can they get a hold of you?
Facebook Messenger is one way. Just connect with me on Facebook, and drop me a message, and we can have a chat about what it is that you need in your life and how they can help you.
Beautiful. And now, what if there are people that want to become certified, to be able to be trainers, to teach others how to do this as well? Same thing. Go to your Facebook.
Yeah, well, I've got a website, but Facebook is fine, and then I can take you through the program, what you can do with it, and if you feel that that's aligned with what you need and what you want, then you can become a qualified aromatherapist quite quickly, actually. Yeah.
Amazing. And we're gonna put the notes, the links in the show notes. If those of you that are watching live right now, I'm gonna drop the link in there so you can connect with Claire. And Claire, I want to say thank you so much. I wish we had more time, because I would love to share all of you with these people, because you just really are extraordinary. The whole the flower witch, guys, she's got an incredible story about that too. But any final thoughts, any last words for our audience that are watching or listening right now?
I think it's really important to be open to the healing that is naturally around us. And I think we need to understand that the human body is a very powerful regenerative organism if we work with it, if we give it what it needs, if we nourish ourselves, if we allow our body to work as it should, because these oils work in harmony with our own mechanisms within our body, which is very different to pharmaceutical medicines, which tend to stop or start a process, which is why it has side effects. And I come across people who are on one drug for something which causes another problem, so they have to take another drug, and then before they're not on the 10 drugs, and they don't know why. And I would just like people to be really open to the fact that they are very powerful regenerative organisms if they open themselves up to the healing that is around naturally, without side effects, without the worry about other things going wrong, because the oils just don't work like that. They work in harmony with the body. So be open, and there's hope. I think the key word is, if you are suffering at the moment, if you're ill, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, low mood, and you've been told, because I had this with somebody last week, that there's nothing else that can be done for them, that's just not true. There's a whole world of powerful healing out there, but you have to be open to it.
Claire, I think you seriously read my mind, because I was like, fibromyalgia, speak into that. And then you did, because I know so many people that are like, oh, my fibro is just so acting up today. And my sister is one, she really struggles with it. And so I know there are a lot of women out there that have these things that are showing up in these illnesses in their bodies, and they have been told there's nothing else we can do. So thank you for showing them, yeah, let's just have a conversation. I mean, I think, what is the worst thing that can happen? You know, like, people are, no, I don't think it's going to work. What if it does? And what if you can be pain free? And what if
I have friends that have completely been cured from fibromyalgia with these oils.
wow, that is extraordinary. And Claire, thank you so much for bringing this into our awareness, for showing us that there are alternatives. And when you open your mind, everything is available. We can heal our bodies, regenerate. Thank you for your time, your expertise, and for who you are in the world. You're extraordinary.
Thank you, Tina.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. I hope you got a little nugget. And if you're sitting there and you are experiencing chronic pain and you think oils might not work, what if they do? Maybe it might be a door, or maybe the reason why you're here is to get that message. So what you do with that message is up to you, but the power is in your hands, right? Reclaim your feminine power, boss your life and business. Maybe oils is the way to do that. Anyways, see you guys.